Song 4. The Boxer. True or false? Circle T if it is true, F if it is false according to the lyrics. 1. The man hears what he doesn't want to hear. 2. When I left my home and my family, I was only a boy. 3. I come looking for a job and got a job. Dictation. Listen and write down what you hear. 1. I was looking for the places only the ragged people would know. 2. He came looking for a job on Fifth Avenue, but he got no offers. 3. There were moments when she was so lonesome. 4. She was laying out her wet clothes to dry in the sun. The story behind the song. At the beginning of the 1960s, Paul Simon and Art, a nickname for Arthur Garfunkel, were two young men in the city of New York. At one point, they sang under the name Tom and Jerry, the same name as an animated cartoon series on television about a cat and mouse. Their voices blended together pleasantly, and the pair, especially Paul Simon, were fine songwriters. This was a time of numerous talented young songwriters, many from Jewish backgrounds like Simon and Garfunkel, creating popular songs for recording artists and record labels. This group included Carole King, Jeff Barry, and Ellie Greenwich, Neil Sedaka, and the music producer Phil Spector. They had their offices and pianos in the Brill Building in downtown Manhattan, in the heart of the city and the midst of the action. Simon and Garfunkel played folk rock, a gentle pop music accompanied mainly by acoustic guitar. Other folk musicians that had hits included Donovan, Melanie, Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, and the creative leader of them all, Bob Dylan. Some bands that began with this sound, like Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane in California, moved into a more electric sound. Electric guitars and even full orchestras appear on Simon and Garfunkel's hits too. The song tells the story of young Contender, a pugilist who hopes to make a name for himself with his fists in the professional boxing ring. Yet he is isolated and lonely in the big city. Young men have sought fame as prize-fighters for generations, often from ethnic groups marginalized or recently arrived in the United States, Irish, Jewish, African American, or Latin American. Some recent movies about women boxers include Girl Fight, 2000, and the Academy Award-winning $1 Million Baby, 2004. Exercise 4. Listen and fill in the blanks. Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel were among New York songwriters of the 1960s. That was a time of numerous talented young songwriters from Jewish backgrounds, and many of them had their offices in the Brill Building, in the midst of the music industry in Manhattan. Simon and Garfunkel played folk rock, accompanied mainly by acoustic guitar. Sometimes electric guitars and even full orchestras appear on their hits. In this song, they sang of a young man trying to make his living with his boxing gloves in the cold, lonely city. Young men who have sought fame as prize-fighters are often from marginalized ethnic groups or groups recently arrived in America.